Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by MMA Veteran James Warfield. James, how are you?
I'm pretty good. And yourself?
I'm doing good. James, you got a fight coming up November 22nd at King of the Cage Industrial Strength. How's training been going for the fight?
Everything's been going okay.
You're fighting out of Serrano's Combat Sports Gym. How long have you been training there?
Adrian Serrano, I've been training there for about like a year and a half now. On and off, we were there in Twisted Fitness in Madison, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. All the databases say that you still train at Chosen Few. Just curious, why did you decide to leave that gym?
How can I say without being too personal? It's just, we both just went our separate ways. Like, they ain't like a manager that I had at the time, and I had to choose between them and my friendship, and I chose my friendship because I felt like that was more important. I stay loyal, and we kind of went our separate ways, but I still love them guys and still train with them whenever I can and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a couple guys ain't see eye to eye with one of my managers, and that's pretty much what it was.
Okay. Now, why did you decide to start training at the spots that you're training at now?
Through the years, Adrian's always been a real good friend of me, and he done refereed a couple of my fights, and he pretty much just came and welcomed me with open arms. And I love the guys. It's a great group of guys. The atmosphere is beautiful. It's like one big giant family, and I like it there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, what kind of guys do you have in the gym helping you get prepared for this fight and training with you on a day-to-day basis?
The usual jits guys, wrestlers, and strikers.
Mm-hmm. Any recognizable names we know?
A couple of guys are up and comers, but for the most part, they on the local circuit.
Okay. And at the gym, do you have a role? Are you an instructor? Obviously, you've been in the game a long time. I'm sure you could pass on a lot of great knowledge to these young up and coming guys. Are you just a fighter, or do you have a coaching role on the team?
Yeah, for the most part, I just help guys that's coming up or that's already been in the game for a minute. They have some advice. Some problems, anything, I give them some advice. But as far as an everyday position as a coach, no, I don't pretty much have an everyday position of a coach.
Okay, I see. Now, all the databases say you haven't fought since June of 2012, but I could have swore you had a fight against Cedric Marks in Peoria, Illinois, back in February. Am I wrong? Was that fight canceled? What happened with that fight? Because it's not on your record. So what happened with that fight?
Yeah, unfortunately it did. He had a family personal problem that came up, and the fight didn't fall through.
Okay. So it's true you haven't fought since 2012?
Pretty much.
Okay. Now, what exactly has caused this long layoff? Has it been injuries? Has it been opponents backing out at the last minute? Has it been promoters, local promoters not having enough money to pay a veteran guy like yourself? Has it been maybe outside the cage stuff, personal issues? What exactly has caused this long layoff?
It's been pretty much injuries and personal issues outside of the cage. That pretty much set me back for a little while, and then my last fight, I got kind of discouraged because the way it ended, I got hit after the bell rung, and they pretty much stopped the fight, and before I knew it, they were saying I got TKO, and I'm like, how the hell I get TKO, and I'm still conscious and everything else. I was just more upset with the fact that why didn't he lose a point for striking me after the bell, and before I knew it, we had words, and next thing I know, they had stopped the fight.
Mm-hmm. Now, coming up on November 22nd, you're going to be fighting at King of the Cage Industrial Strength. Now, with you coming off a long layoff and this being your first fight since 2012, I'm just curious, how did this deal with King of the Cage all come together?
They got a hold of my coach and asked him about me, and they pretty much, he told him that I'll fight, and the rest has been history, and I'm just appreciative that they even had me in their name or said my name out their mouth. It was an honor to even fight for these guys, and to get this opportunity is a great opportunity, and I'm going to take full advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. You're currently on a 4-fight losing streak. Were you surprised when they came in and offered you a title fight? This is going to be for the King of the Cage Junior Welterweight Championship. Were you surprised when they offered you a title fight, considering a layoff and recent fights?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, pretty much so. Like, I was in the process of wanting to get a couple fights in before I really stretch my legs out. But when opportunities like this knocks, you open a door and you let it in, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that they even had me in mind, where they could have went anywhere else in the world or found somebody, but out of all people, they chose me, and I'm honored to even be in that position.
Mm-hmm. How's your local circuit from where you're from? Obviously, you're from Wisconsin. How's the local MMA scene? Because one of the patterns I keep seeing in guys who have long layoffs, they come from an area where a lot of the local shows don't have the money necessarily to acquire veteran guys like yourself, and you know, they don't have the show frequency, so there's a lot of fighters looking for fights and not a lot of card space. Is that a problem that you've encountered? Is this something that has caused your layoff as well?
No, the local circuit is pretty good. You got NFC, Duke Rufus and his show. Then you got Chosen Few Fighting Championship with Josh Deary and all those guys, and more. So it ain't pretty much the local circuit. It is mostly me dealing with my personal issues and going through the things that I went through that caused a layover and a layoff as far as injuries and just personal problems that came up.
Okay, I see. This fight is going to be for the King of the Cage Junior Welterweight Championship. That's their 160-pound title. You normally fight at 155 pounds, so I'm just curious, how much easier is that making things on you, not having to drop that last 5 pounds? Is it making the preparation for the fight a little bit easier, not having to worry about weight cutting and all that stuff and depleting yourself and worrying about diminishing returns going into the fight?
I feel good. Like I'm just came prepared and be ready. But for the most part, it's give and take. You know, 5 pounds is 5 pounds. Sometimes it can be those 5 pounds that break you or make you. You know what I mean? So it's one of those situations where it ain't gonna make too much of a deal. But at the same time, I'm happy that I don't have to go even more into depth as far as cutting.
Okay, I see. Now you're taking on Joshua Velez. How much do you know about him?
California kid, rough upcoming, turned something negative to something positive. Hell of a champion, man. Hell of a fighter. I have nothing but good things to say about the kid. Like, as far as I've seen so far, I haven't met him in person, but just checking him out in interviews and just getting a good vibe with people. He seemed like a pretty cool cat.
Mm-hmm. Do you go this in depth with a lot of your opponents? Because you just gave off a great breakdown of who he is as a person, and we haven't even gotten to his fighting skill. Do you always go this in depth? Do you always like to know everything about your opponents when you're going in there and fighting them, preparing to go in there and fight them?
Yeah, like as much as I can without overwhelming myself with worries, if you want to call it that, over planning. But definitely, I like to look and see as far as who I'm facing and what they're capable of doing and what type of person they carry themselves as a man, you know, and things of that nature. Like, it holds over into the cage as well.
Mm-hmm. How much film do you watch on your opponents? And when you're watching film, do you focus more on their wins and what they've done right, or do you focus on their losses and what opponents in the past have done correct against them? You know, when you watch film, what do you look for?
I look for both. Like, I look for his strengths as well as his weakness, and I pretty much base my whole game plan around that. Like, as pretty much, I come with a plan as far as being in shape, being ready. But as far as a set game plan, like, I like one of those guys that just adjust as the fight happens.
Okay. Now, because you're on a 4-fight losing streak and you haven't fought since June of 2012, a lot of people believe that King of the Cage is bringing you in to lose. King of the Cage, they've invested a lot of time and they're really pushing Joshua Velez. I guess you could say he's kind of the poster boy for the organization. Now, me personally, I don't know what their intentions are, and I really don't care what their intentions are because I really want to see this fight. I think this is a great fight. I think the styles that you two guys bring into the cage makes for an exciting fight. It's 5 rounds. I don't see this fight going 5 rounds. I think somebody's getting finished. You guys always put on exciting fights. Both of your styles are great. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I'm so glad they're putting this fight together. But I'm just curious, what do you think their intentions are? Do you think they're bringing you in to lose?
No, I really feel like they've seen a Midwest boy that's been putting in his time, putting in his work, and they feel like they give me an opportunity and give me a shot. I don't feel like that they intentionally bring me in there to lose, to maybe use me as the gatekeeper type deal. They know I come to fight, and hopefully that's what they're seeing. Like they give me an opportunity to come prove myself. And there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's going to be a war, man. When I fight, I try to finish. I don't believe in decisions. Mm-hmm. So I know he's going to try the same thing, and I can't wait to meet in the middle and make the best man win.
Mm-hmm. What are you anticipating going into this fight? A lot of people think that, like you just touched on, you guys are going to meet in the middle and swing until somebody goes down. What are you anticipating going into this? Do you think it'll be a stand-up war, or do you see this fight being a true MMA fight where we could see anything?
Man, I wish I was psychic. Everything and how it's going to come and how it's going to go. But pretty much I can just tell you that I come to fight. It's an opportunity for me to shine, and I'm going to show up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you anticipate ring rust going into this fight, or have you just looked at it like, hey, I'm training every day. I've been ready to go for a long time. I had a fight a while back that was canceled. I've been ready to go. Do you anticipate any ring rust? Do you anticipate having to deal with anything like that?
I guess the reality of the situation is a fight is a fight. So whether I'm rusty or not, I'm still going to be in a fight. But it should be a little bit of ring rust. That's why I got the WD-40.
Right. Good call. I like that. Now, the last 4 fights you've had against Lozano, Palomino, Ellenberger, and Liggett, all 4 of those fights have not gone your way. 3 of those fights ended with you losing a decision, and then the Lozano fight obviously ended the way you touched on a little bit earlier. It ended with a weird TKO in round 1. But taking the Lozano fight out of the picture, what's gone wrong for you in some of these recent fights? I'm sure you've thought about it for a while now. Have you been able to put a finger on it? What exactly has gone wrong in these last couple fights?
I think timing. I let a lot of people rent space in my head, and I wasn't prepared fully mentally, and I truly believe that it's 90% mental and 10% physical. And all it takes is a little bit of distractions, and you're looking at 4 wins instead of 4 losses. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of timing and the way things happen. And that's just what it is. The day they happen, at the time it happened, according to the judges and the way it happened, they were the better fighter that night. So that's how I lead it. Mm-hmm. They was better than me that night, and I can't perform. No excuses, man. No excuses.
Okay. I hear you. Now, your nickname is the Unbreakable Heavy Hitter. That really isn't a nickname, is it? It's more like a description of your fighting style.
No, my fighting style is all war. And they call me the Unbreakable Heavy Hitter because evidently I hit hard, and all of a sudden I'm unbreakable because in life it's okay to bend but never break. Okay. So you put the two together, and you got a hell of a dude.
Okay. I like it. Good explanation for it, because I'm like, this is a perfect description of your fighting style. Whoever gave you that nickname, spot on. Who was it?
Damien Decor.
Smart man. Now, speaking of names, I've been looking on the databases, and a lot of the databases has your legal name as James Warfield Lane. Why is that?
Because I was hyphenated. Right. I got my mom and my dad last name.
Okay. Do you prefer to go by that?
Yeah, when you have one parent without the other, so I just go by James Warfield.
Okay. I see. I was just curious about that. Obviously, every fight is a big fight. Your next fight is always your most important fight. That's the old saying. But considering the 4 losses, do you look at this fight like do or die time? You're 36 years old, which in my eyes you're still a young man. But to most people, you know, the critics out there, they would say you're getting up there in age. Do you look at this fight like do or die time? You know, I'm sure the only focus you have is winning this fight, but is there something in the back of your mind that says, you know, where do I go if I lose this one?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't even let that set in. Like, I look at Bernard Hopkins and Randy Couture, and there's no comparison to. You can look at a person's age and determine their success. I don't look at no urgency of I have to go win or this or that. Man, I'm putting no extra pressure on myself. It's a fight, man. I've been doing that my whole life, so it's something I'm comfortable with doing. And if I had to do anything else in this world, it definitely would be just what I'm doing now, and that's fighting. So to treat this fight any different, the only difference is I got to stay away from his right hand.
Right.
That's a big difference. That's a fight changer right there.
Right. So this fight, just another fight. It's not a must win. It's just another fight.
Yeah, it's definitely another fight. I can't put the extra pressure on myself, saying that it's do or die, or if I don't perform, if I don't do this, my life is over. And no, I can't. No, it's not that at all. It's you go out there, perform to my best abilities, and if I do what I have to do, then I'm the winner that night.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you fought against Chris Lozano back in June of 2012, how different is James Warfield November of 2014 from June of 2012? Because in a way, you kind of have the advantage here because it's been such a long time since you've been in there. All the footage that Joshua Vilas' camp is looking at is 2 years old. So in a way, you kind of have the leg up on footage. His footage is a lot more recent than yours, so I think you have a better sense of what he brings to the table than what you do. So I'm just curious, how different are you, mainly as a fighter, but also as a man, from 2012 till now?
I say a lot of things have changed as far as being a fighter. I would say taking my training a lot more serious, and as far as being a man, I've been in my kids' life more and more each day. So I guess you can say a total balance of both improvement. But like as far as a real big significant change, I would say the time I spend with my kids and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. How old are your kids?
I got an 18-year-old, 14-year-old, 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, 10-year-old, and a 4-year-old. I got 5 kids.
Does your 4-year-old, I'm sure the older kids know what you do for a living, but does your 4-year-old know that you fight?
Oh, definitely. Well, take that back. She just turned 5.
Okay.
She definitely knows I fight, and she loves to fight too. Her favorite thing is to try to rear naked choke me every day.
Okay. I like it. Now, will your kids be in attendance for this fight? Is that something that you've done in the past? Have they come to your fights?
If they choose. That's one of those things where I never force them to do anything like that. If they choose to come, then I would definitely welcome them. But if they don't want to, they don't want to see Dad get punched in the face, I can understand that. Mm-hmm. No, I wouldn't force them to come. If they want to come, then they come. If they want to get into the sport, then they can get into it. Like, I wouldn't force their hand into anything if they choose.
Okay. I see. Now, with 4 kids and you being on a 2-year layoff and money not coming in through fighting, how have you been able to put food on the table?
Oh, side jobs. I still work part-time as a bouncer, as well as I take and go in houses and we gut them out and refix them and do things of that nature. So I find when audience every now and then do job lay work and stuff like that.
Oh, I see. Okay. Now, Joshua Vilas, what do you think his camp is telling him to do against you in this fight?
What he been doing every last one of his fights. Keep the fight standing, come forward, put the pressure on, and look for the big shot.
Mm-hmm. So you believe that his camp views you as just another guy? They're not really going to tailor a game plan for you, just go out and fight like the way he's been fighting?
Pretty much. I think if it were a person been on the street the way he's been on the street, if you're doing something that's working, why change it? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those situations where it can be good or bad. Like if he just came off a loss, then he can know some adjustments that he needs to do to better himself. But if he's been winning and he get comfortable with how he's fighting and the way he's fighting and the way he's improving, but sometimes people get cocky and arrogant to the point of they don't train as hard or don't take it as serious. They get kind of crazy with their gift.
Mm-hmm. Now, James, with you coming back after a long layoff, is there anything you're looking to prove, and is there anything you're looking to showcase in this fight?
To prove, I just want to prove I'm back, if nothing else, and to give my fans what they came and see. They know what I'm capable of doing, just like I know, and just go put on a show for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't wait for this fight. I think it's going to be an absolute barn burner. Both of you guys always come forward. You always put on exciting fights. I absolutely can't wait for this fight. It's for a title, 5 rounds. I really don't think it's going the distance. I think someone's getting finished here. But, James, I wish you the best of luck. And before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank? And is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yes, I would definitely like to thank Infaloss, to help me prepare for my fight. Adrian Serrano, I want to say Mark at Twisted Fitness out there in Madison, Wisconsin, and those group of guys at Forest Gym. My kids, my girlfriend Kendria, and pretty much everybody that believes in me, man. Like my mom, my dad, and my fans that just really believe in me and what I can do, and I go from there. Like I've been training like a lot of places over the years down there with Dynamic MMA, with Ronald Rousey and all those people, with Anthony Hondonk, and back with Anthony Pettis and Duke Rufus and like all those guys. So I got a lot of things that's under my belt, under my tool belt. It just I got to go put it to work and just use the right tools for the right job, and I should be successful.
James, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck November 22nd at King of the Cage Industrial Strength against Joshua Avilez.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.